Good to go.
You're mute. You're on mute. You're muted.
Thank you, Melvina. Hello, everyone. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm doing good. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Thinking Reimagined podcast. I am Effiong. Well, let's talk about the principles of social justice. They say there are 4 principles to tell whether a society is just, right? Access, equity, participation, and human rights. We probably would just stay with human rights today. And we're referencing a few stories that have recently made the news and perhaps explore how the society has responded vis-a-vis the expectation of equal rights and opportunities for everyone. First is the Court Zuma story. Remember Zuma? In a viral video, he was seen kicking his family cat, and this has attracted public outrage. Over 225,000 people signing an online petition calling for his prosecution. And despite his apology, his cat has been taken away from him. West Ham has fined him 2 weeks' wages, understood to be about £250,000, which is expected to be donated to animal welfare charities. During a particular football match, he was booed by opposition supporters. And I'm also told that Adidas has now canceled a deal that it had with him. And I've not even probably captured all of his travels. Our second story today is that of a BBC investigation that is showing that women's intimate pictures are now being shared to harass, to shame, and to blackmail them on a massive scale. And that is not just limited to Telegram. I'm sure nobody will acknowledge that they, visit porn sites here. But if you have done any sex video in the past, maybe you should go and check online. It might just be there. I'm just kidding. Thirdly, something every Nigerian on Twitter can relate with: the amazingly different ways social media reacted to Tiwa Savage and Oxlade's sex tape. While one was bashed online, the other is being praised for his performance in the bed. Interesting. Peter Hamad Boyo, filmmaker, actor, and writer, thank you for joining us. Chylian Azuh is expected to join us subsequently. We're expecting Moses Omoghena, Melvina Olisa, but we have Felix Effiong McFilarge. I hope I pronounced that well. He's an MC, actor, comedian, and entertainer. Melvina Olisa is also here. Thank you so much for finding time to join us. Let me begin, Uncle P, with Uncle P. Very quickly, let me just have your reaction on this Zuma story. Do you think that this is a little bit going beyond getting justice for animal rights abuse, perhaps a little tint of racial injustice, as some would say online? How are you reacting to this?
Uncle P, please kindly unmute your mic, please. You're still on mute, sir.
I'm just going to have Felix to react while we wait for Uncle P to join. Please go ahead, Felix.
Please come again with your question, please.
Asking for your reaction to the Zuma storyline, the footballer who is now being cancelled because he kicked his cat.
Very aware of the story. And first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. The social media at the moment, I think, is a place where some people just put their businesses out there, expected to be judged. Reacting to Zuma's issue, I think if you are someone who lives actively in the UK, there's this joke on the streets that in the UK, it is animals women, children, men, women before men. That's the order of arrangement of the societal standing. And I think with every society, can you hear me? Okay, so I think hello? Okay. Hello? I just keep getting cut off. I don't know what's happening. I just keep getting cut off. I'm back on. So I think with every society, like I was saying, there is like for instance, here, if you see people who have to sell a particular story, there's things you have to do. Like Jim Ike the last time, let's just digress a bit, wanted to advertise his movie. What did he do? He went to this guy's house, pretended like he was going there to fight him. And he knew the society where he was doing this thing to promote his movie that's going to sell. If Zuma had kicked a boy, I'm very sure it wouldn't be this much. However, the society which Zuma is a society that's very protective of its pets. However, I personally will believe that it's overstretched. I think it would have ended with him being fined the 2 weeks wages, which is excessive because Luis Suarez did worse things to Patrick Evra, if you are a football fan, and he got just 40,000, while this man is getting 200. The other man, racially abused someone on the football field and got 40,000 fine only. This guy kicked his own pet and even apologized. His brother was kicked off his football team. His younger brother was also kicked off his football team. Puma, who uses animal skin to make boots, millions of boots yearly, are taking a contract off him for just kicking a cat. Eden Hazard did the same thing. So this is what basically is not the reaction of social media to him. It is what has happened before. Like things that have happened, people who've committed even more crimes to humans and got lesser punishment. That's making because of the skin color. I mean, if you live in the UK, people talk about skin color, black and white. Currently, I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. I wake up, my neighbor is black. I am black. The next man I'm going to see fuel attendant. So no one talks about race here. So whatever happened, it's happening here. But in the UK, everything has to, you have to talk about race. You have to talk about, the black and white thing or the Caucasian or this or that. So people are excessively careful. I was in an interview even before this meeting, and the woman said, "Oh, how is Ghana?" And I said, "No, I'm in Nigeria." And then she said something, and I said, "Oh, we're all blacks." And she said, "Oh, I don't mean it that way." But honestly, I was joking. But she is so I think for Kozuma, it's overstretched. But I do not think it has anything to do with race. We're trying to kick out certain things from the society. And when the issue happened with Suarez, it was different. For every football match, especially since after George Floyd, people take the knee before football. So I think they are raising punishment at the moment to try to make people learn from situations that there could be consequences bigger than this. If you're from a conversation with the UK currently, you notice that all protocols are concerning COVID is being dropped one after the other just because the Prime Minister attended the party in December. So these things have consequence. That's just, I think, the lesson they're just trying to put out there.
Eden Hazard kicked the ball boy, for crying out loud. I mean, this guy only kicked the cat. I understand the sentiment and UK sentiment for animal rights and things like that. But a lot of people are also asking the question, just like you're saying, if this is not way overboard. But I'd like you to talk to us about what you think about the cancel culture. It's a question where someone does something wrong and then you just want to shut him down because you have access to the internet, you have the information, and then you're passing judgment. Is that a part of our commitment to a just society, particularly when we don't seem to have a uniform measure of punishment for everyone?
I think what it is right now is we all have our day-to-day lives on the internet. When I go to the gym, I post videos, people see it. When I travel, when I'm on the plane, I post videos, pictures, people see it. And so when I'm wrong, I think sometimes it's the fear that, okay, these things at the end of the day might even get to the internet. So maybe I need to put it there myself to get assessment. So this assessment sometimes help people feel better. It can be bad. They will just come at you and, the comments keep coming, people keep saying things, and then it helps you. It's just like a judge. The internet now becomes a judge of the situation. So you just feels like, so whatever if the internet say it was okay, don't worry about it, or what you did is not so bad. People do that all the time. So you feel like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be too hard on myself. But once the comment becomes too negative, you see, okay, maybe I was very wrong. And then you apologize. Once the internet accepts your apology, then it means you're all forgiven, and then you can continue living in peace with yourself.
I get your point. Let's bring in Melvina here. Melvina, did you by any chance stumble on either Tiwa Savage's or Oxlade's video online?
I actually heard the story, but I don't dabble into those kind of videos. I didn't watch it.
I know. Nobody publicly acknowledges to have seen such videos. So no, I understand.
I did not.
I understand. Even me, I have never seen anything like that before in my entire life. But let me have your reaction to what appears to, some online celebrations comments as against the bashing that Tiwa Savage got. How much justice do you see playing out here, and you is contributing to this social?
Okay, I would say since Tiwa Savage these persons are actually public figures. They are influencers on social media, Instagram, the likes, Twitter, and the likes of it. So whatever thing they put out there, they are actually giving the public the right to comment and say all sort of things about them. So them bringing those stuffs online or those stuffs having to come even without their permission, it's automatically giving the public to say anything they want to say about it. And then recently I saw everybody saying Oklad, this, that online. I'm not the type of person that actually go to look for what's happening. I just wait to see it on people's status. But actually, I didn't see the video. I was just seeing. And then people are praising the guy and people are talking bad about Tiwa Savage that she shouldn't have done that or she shouldn't have let the video out and stuff like that. To some point, it's to a measure of some point, it's actually bad on Tiwa Savage because people like ladies like us or some other ladies, we actually look up to her. She's a nice person. She's okay. She is a mother. She has a child. She has sort of things. She's good in our industry, and then she's bringing out something like this. It's going to draw people back on her, and I think that's the reason why people have to say bad about her, because she has actually brought out a good figure about herself, and then something bad like this is happening. It will bring judgment on her. And then I don't know anything about the Outlash.
Yeah. So you know that it's a little bit dicey when we say whether a video was leaked or not. There are people who will tell you that these videos are intentionally leaked because they want to promote a song or things like that. But talk to us about how unfair you think it is if the society doesn't mete out the same measure of reaction just because of sex. I know we've had this conversation before about how women are being looked down on in areas like this. So a woman does it, it is bad news. I mean, it is a dent on our virtue and on our image, but a man does it and he's celebrated for it. You are a future female surveyor, and you study to be a surveyor, an industry that is well known to be male dominated. Is there some form of a ripple effect that is evident for you, particularly when you look at how the society, deal with a man as against how they deal with a woman?
Okay. I think comparing these two that you said, yes, there is a little bit of unfairness there because as a woman, what the society has seen for as set examples for a woman is actually you have to be virtuous, you have to keep yourself, you have to work under a man, you have to then when somebody, a woman, wants to be independent, when she wants to do the right thing, when she wants to stand on her own, then you see people saying, you're supposed to be under this man, you're supposed to be married by now, you're supposed to have gotten this by now. And then it's a little bit of unfair for some persons to actually talk down on women when we want to do more, when we want to, like, okay, for example, myself in surveying, there is this I recently came back from IT, my student industrial training, and then there was this opportunity where my boss traveled. Yes, it's an opportunity. He traveled, so I had this opportunity to man the instrument for like a week. So on the third day, can anybody hear me? Hello.
Very clearly, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay. So there, I had to manage the instrument for like a week. So the overall surveyor, the person who is supposed to, the person who is seeing, who is supervising, when he came the second day, he was like, "Are you the person here? Like, what's happening? Where is your boss? Where is Kende?" I said, "Okay, actually the one manning the instrument." He said, "Are you sure you can do this?" Like, he gave me this look and he was like, "I can't do it." So he was preparing to take over the instrument before I already before then I had gone to set up the instrument and everything. I had given I've given the piling crew the points that they are going to pile. And then when he came and he checked, it was okay. He couldn't find anywhere to hold me down. Then he started checking, he started asking me some questions, and of which I answered correctly. And then he was like, "Okay, that's when he gave me like this." He did like this to me, and I was like, and in my mind I was like, "Oh, because I'm a lady and because I am small, probably because I'm small and because I'm a woman, that's why you spoke like that at first. You don't want to know my measure of the way I can do or the way I can perform on the job, and you just want to write me off like that." So it's quite unfair how the society has placed us ladies. Yeah,
I agree, and we're perhaps looking forward to how you intend to change that subsequently. Peter Amon Boyle, Moses Omoghena, I've joined this conversation. Gentlemen, thank you for joining. Please consider this an open conversation. When you feel like following up another speaker's thoughts, feel free to do so. I will only ask that you indicate first the message or by raising your hand before speaking. And of course, you can keep the comments rolling. Just before you joined, we were talking about, hi, Moses, good to see you. I just asked Melvina if she by chance stumbled on Tiwa Savage's or Oxlade's video online. Moses, did you?
Yes, I did. I mean, it was how couldn't I? It was all
Finally, I found somebody telling the truth. Everybody on this conversation has been telling lies.
It was all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, for Tiwa Savage, it was a bash, but then everyone is celebrating Oxlade for doing a good job on the bed. How much social justice in there?
Well, interesting. I mean, I don't know if everybody is celebrating Oxlade. I know I didn't. But yeah, I can understand, the approach, because really when I went on Twitter and I saw, had a glimpse of the conversations that were going on, the reactions that were going on, there was when it comes to Oxlade, there was more defense for him as there was for Tiwa Savage. The tone generally for Tiwa Savage was, "Oh, that was a dumb move. Why did she allow herself to be filmed like that? Where is the man? How come we're not also seeing the man's face and what have you?" But then when it came to Oxlade, we're hearing stuff like, "Oh wow, this guy is really good in bed. He's got some really good styles and what have you," as ridiculous as it sounds. So yeah, sadly, we still live in a deeply patriarchal orientated society. But personally, I'd like not to get carried away by what the norm is of society. I like to go with what feels good to my core. And the same reaction I had with Tiwa Savage, what I thought it was a dumb move, was also what I thought. For Oxlade, really, I didn't exactly see it as a dumb move. I felt a bit more sorry for him, because when I saw that video, I could see a man who was so desperate to be seen, who was so desperate for recognition. I didn't see that with Tiwa Savage. Tiwa Savage is the biggest female act in Africa. So this wasn't really about publicity, so to speak. I just thought it was a very poor decision on her part, and maybe one thing led to the other. I'm not sure if I'm really right about the details. But for Oxlade, I saw someone, I felt more sorry for him. I just saw someone who was desperate for recognition, who just wanted to be seen. And if you look at it from that angle, aren't we all? Everybody essentially as human beings, we want to be seen. We want to be, from the little I heard from Melvina, there was a sense of, why was she not judged based on her level of competence as opposed to judging her based on her looks or her first impression? So there's an essential core, there's one common denominator I find amongst human beings is we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be appreciated, we want to be noticed. But how you go about that recognition is what counts, is what draws the line between humans as higher animals and animals as lower animals, so to speak. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say to that.
I'm just a little bit confused, Moses, because many years ago, all of these are many shades of wrong, but a lot has changed now. I don't know. Because some people will tell you that they have a right to do what they like, even if they put a camera on themselves in the act and put it on social media. It's the personal space, it's their decision, and that's what they have chosen to do. Before you joined, we talked about Zuma's challenge in the UK, where he kicked his cart and then they want his head for it. But how do we continually begin to, talk about equal rights and equal opportunities, particularly when the values seem to have faded or perhaps a little bit confusing, because we can't tell, nobody can tell now what is right or what is wrong. You come up with something, they say, oh, you're a religious bigot, and people see things almost different ways. How do we continually uphold equal rights, even in the face of all of these uncertainties?
Well, first of all, there was something you said, when you mentioned he had a right to do what he had to do. It's his personal space. I don't believe in that. I believe that if you want a personal life, if you want a personal space, then get off social media. There is nothing personal about social media, because the moment you make a decision to open a social media profile or account, you automatically make your business everybody's business, right? If he wanted to be his personal space, then he should have shared it with a private WhatsApp contact and not put it out on social media. But then again, to answer your question about how do we draw the line between personal freedom and values, I think that the problem is that we cherry pick and we want to always eat our cake and have it. I don't believe that you can effectively talk about freedom or one's fundamental right without also talking about a bit or two about accountability and responsibility, right? Even in your fundamental human rights, you are also held accountable in even expressing those rights that you were born with, right? So when we take that out, take out the sense of accountability and responsibility, then for me, I feel that our rights, then I can have a right to go and stab the neighbor who gets on my nerve. I can have a right to go and shoot, a public service holder that I know for sure that is wasting taxpayers' money. But then where do we draw the line between me being held accountable and just doing things by the book? That's why we have laws, and that's why we have rules and regulations. So yeah, I'm not sure that answers your question really.
I get it precisely. I get you precisely where somebody's right, and that's where the other person begins. I can see that Felix hands are up. Please go ahead, Felix.
Yes, I wanted to continue from what Melvina was saying earlier, and I have this to say. Tiwa Savage is a mother. One of the conversations I was seeing on Twitter, people were saying she is a mother. This is Africa. She's supposed to be showing more good example. This other guy is just a guy. He is a single guy. He's never been married. He doesn't have kids. And, you know, as a younger person, I mean, you can make excuse for recklessness. However, with Tiwa Savage, the age on her side, a mom who has a son to protect, a female who is still carving a niche for herself in her world, I mean, outside Africa, it is more irresponsible of her. And again, someone came up and said something about the place it all went down. With Oxlade, the entire thing happened in his house or somewhere, you know, close. And Tiwa Savage looked like a public scene with the videos attached to the entire pictures. Because, so I mean, as an African, because we want to maybe deviate from it, because, okay, before coming on this live, on this podcast, I was on Twitter a minute ago, and there was a video of a lady beating the husband. The man was naked. The woman was using whips on this guy. Because we like to change narrative about, oh, it's a man's world, it's a man's world, it's a man's world. Now, if you go under the comment section of that video where the woman was beating the man, people were laughing. People were just saying, oh, maybe it's BDSM. Maybe it's BDSM. So everyone, no one was saying domestic violence. No one was saying, domestic abuse. No one was actually feeling very sorry for the man who was being abused.
That's right.
The conversation was different. The commentary was different. So the commentary will be different in Africa. Once a divorced mother of a young boy goes on a boat cruise and have sex on the boat, and the video came out. And then the conversation will also be different when a young guy, a single man, have sex with his girlfriend in his room, and they made video together, and the video somehow get leaked. And if you look at the lifestyle of Oxlade, you notice that it's something people already knew. His videos being everywhere. That's not his first video. But the difference here is that this one is longer and is with a woman. The rest is just being him showcasing himself. So with Oxlade, it was already out there for some people. People already knew. So with Tiwa Savage, it was more Africans reacting to an incident that happened in Africa, and Nigerians per se reacting to incidents. So there's no way we're saying, oh, values are changing, this and that is changing. There are things that will not change in our society. Like there are standards you hold women to, and there are different standards you hold men to. There are standards you hold a young boy to, and there's different standards you hold a man to. There are different standards you hold a young girl to, and an adult female. I think some things might never change, no matter how much we preach about it. And that's my take on Tiwa Savage and Oxlade's situation.
Hey,
Thank you, Felix.
let me add something there. I think it all has to do with the double standard we have, especially in this part of the world. If a woman does something like that, she's chastised, but if a man does it, he's celebrated. Because I saw both videos, I saw all the comments, and Tiwa Savage, well, I don't know what circumstances it was, but she said it was leaked, and Oxlade said it was leaked. So it comes down to the digital footprints. Whatever you do on your phone or your laptop is there. Even if you delete it, it's still there. Digital footprints, nothing you can do about it. It's not going to go away. Once it's there, it can be leaked. Someone can access your phone. People can hack your phone. So whatever you do, it's there. Now, talking about if it was leaked or if it wasn't leaked, that's besides the point. The point now is the double standard we have for male and female. Because the first time I saw the Oxlade video, I didn't even know what it was. I saw students jubilating. I was like, oh, is this a new artist? Because I don't know Oxlade from Adam. Is this a new artist or what's going on? And I saw, oh, he's been celebrated. So I asked somebody, I said, what's happening? Who's this young guy? What happened? And they said he has a video out. So of course I saw it on Twitter. You can't not see all these videos. That's what I'm saying. So The point is digital footprints. Whatever you put on your phone or your laptop is there, whether you delete it or not.
Fantastic. Who wants to talk to us about dealing with this double?
Nifemi, you're muted, just in case you're not aware.
Oh my, so sorry about that. I was asking who would like to talk to us about dealing with this double standard, which is what this conversation is all about. Principles of social justice. Key among it is human rights. How do we begin to grow a society where everyone is dealt with the same measure, irrespective of your status or your gender or whoever it is you are?
Well, first of all, what are the principles of social justice? Access, what is it? Oh, my brain just went blank. You know, access to all the
equity.
Sorry?
I think you meant to say equity.
Right.
Yes. Go ahead. Let me let you speak.
No, finish, Uncle P. I was just reminding you.
No, you finish. Finish. I want to hear from you first.
You were anyway. I think personally, I'm going to be honest. In a society like ours, there are certain things will never change. I made a.
But do you think it can never change, or you mean in our lifetime?
It won't change in our lifetime. Women in Africa will always be judged with a different standard, and men will always be judged by a different standard, as long as Africa is concerned. In fact, let's leave Africa out of it, and the world, it will still be like that, because you hear, okay, for instance, let's talk about the topic of what's this movement for equal right between all sexes, feminism. There are so many people who do not understand the topic surrounding feminism. They think feminism is misandry. They hate, like when you hate men, and that's not what the discussion is about. And they're not even ready to get, proper knowledge on these things. So they carry on thinking feminism is misandry. It's feminism, that the two intertwine. Well, they are two different separate things. So as Africans, would want to say, as an African, I would want to say that we will always have double standard in our society. Women will always be judged differently, and men would always be judged differently. It will never change. It will never change. That's my stand.
My apologies, Felix, but then never say never, because I'm sure my grandma was 90 2 weeks ago. I'm sure she must have made that comment when she said, now that she knows that women can own plots of land, that a woman can actually go to a court of law and get married to more than one husband. I'm sure when she was a young girl in her 20s, she probably would have said that will never happen in her lifetime, right? Maybe. But things are changing, so never say never. There are people with deeply patriarchal orientations, but they are loosening up, So to answer Nifemi's question more succinctly about how to go about it, I just think that we need to learn and unlearn, whatever it is up there, as feminist icons like Chimamanda, she's greatly doing. I listen to her all the time, and there are a couple of things couple of orientation that I had that I didn't even know was misogynistic. But when I listen to such people, I'm like, oh wow, I never thought of it that way. And so there's a deliberate, and a conscious effort from my end to do and to know better, right? I think that if there's a conscious, deliberate attempt out there to just sensitize people at the little opportunity that we have, right? And even it just involves the smallest of things. Take, for example, with our music, there's this very popular song by Tiwa Savage, Somebody's Song Will Find Me One Day, right? I'm not exactly a fan of that song because I think it's a deeply, deeply sexist song, right? Why is somebody's son finding you? Or why is somebody's daughter not finding you either, right? As much as we want somebody's son to find you, if we're trying about gender equality, then somebody's daughter should be able to find somebody's son equally in it. I'm also not a fan of this guy. There's this this very popular comedian. He's an activist. I think he was arrested at the NSAS movement, but he's also a comedian. If you can.
Macaroni?
Macaroni, exactly. I like Macaroni as a person because he's a strong advocate for human rights, but I find his comedy skits deeply misogynistic, right? And so I'm not a fan of him because where you create the fact that a rich man, a sugar daddy, earns a living by preying on vulnerable girls, I don't know what is funny about that or what should be humorous about that, right? So it's the little things that count, and those things trickle into the minds and consciousness of people, of an audience, and that's why it becomes it's such a long journey, of changing this orientation. But if there's a deliberate and conscious effort by us to always look out for these things and correct it at the slightest opportunity, I think that there will be hope. So I wouldn't exactly say never, really.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, let's coast home now. I talked about the BBC documentary earlier, talking about the fact that women's private pictures are now being used ad libitum on Telegram without their consent. And these are not just pictures that they posted themselves, perhaps pictures that they made with their exes, I mean, it's just a very terrible story. And I'm hearing, Felix talking about a situation where this issue will be with us and might not be resolved in this lifetime. As we wrap up now, talk to us about how to behave online, in the midst of all of these terrible realities that we are faced with. A situation where, your videos, people share your videos, who do you even arrest? Who do you hold? And many people are suffering as a result of this development.
I want to say something real quick. Sometimes these videos are not got legally. Sometimes hotels have spy cameras, places you go have cameras. People wear cameras, their camera pens, camera buttons. So sometimes it's not just from you uploading those videos. So I want to make that clear. I don't know how these women's videos got leaked, but some of them might not even have known these videos were being made. I think there was an instance of a lady that said she didn't know how her naked pictures even ended up online because she never recorded anything. So we have to be aware that in this digital age, there's all different ways of spy. And if you're in the public eye, a celebrity or a public figure or whatnot, or even a female or male or something, you're a target. So we too have to exercise our human rights to be vigilant to ourselves, to be very vigilant, to know what's going on around us.
Okay, I just saw a question here from our live audience, and I think this is posed to Moses' earlier comment. Why or how was it misogynistic that Tiwa Savage said somebody's son as a song about love?
Okay, thank you very much for that. I was raising my hand to react to a question that you raised, but let me answer the question. So I didn't say it was misogynistic. I didn't say Tiwa Savage somebody's son is misogynistic. I said it was sexist. There's a difference, right? And so when she says that somebody's son will find me one day, it goes with the usual patriarchal narrative that, the woman is a vulnerable flower, just patiently waiting for a man to come and rescue her and sweep her off her feet, right? Now, if we are fighting for gender equality in the real sense of it, then women should be self-reliant, self-sufficient, and should be able to find love even in their own independence. As the man, has been, from time immemorial, projected to be. So as much as somebody's son is finding you someday, a man should be confident in saying that somebody's daughter should find him someday in it, right? Like I always tell, some of my friends always say that the day full feminism would apply in Africa is when it becomes normal for a woman to pay a man's bride price or man price, whatever the case might be, right? As it is in India, for example, where it is not, totally on the man to go to the woman's family and pay a bride price. I don't even like the idea of the bride price, especially when it comes to the southeastern part of Nigeria, where, in quotes, the woman is sort of being bought, and so that gives the man some level of right or control over her. So that's from that angle I'm looking at it, really, that if somebody's son is going to find you, then somebody's daughter should as well also find me as a man. It should go both ways. That's my point.
Absolutely. After all, I've started seeing pictures of ladies on their knees proposing to their man. It looks strange anyways, but it's part of the gender equality that we're talking about.
That's what you see. I just got you now. You said it looks strange. Why does it look strange? Because it's a reality you're not used to.
Yes, absolutely.
So until it becomes a norm, then I think that will be there. But to answer your question, Nifemi, you asked the question about holding people accountable for videos being leaked and what have you. Yes. And Mr. Peter just gave a very interesting point of view. But I also, just to add to what he said, so if you look at Tiwa Savage's video again, the conversation was geared towards her, that, oh, it was a dumb move, you shouldn't have recorded yourself in the first place. But then again, there was little conversation around the person who leaked that video without her consent should also be held accountable because you invaded on her privacy, right? And legal action should take place. There's a gray area between leakage, the footage, videos being leaked or not. Personally, I feel that Tiwa Savage might have been leaked, but in the case of Oxlade, I don't think his video was leaked. I think he knew exactly what he was doing, because like Felix said, he seems to have a track record of nudity, and so it's only normal for people to expect, I'm sure if at all it was leaked, it's going to be a very hard case to prove in the court of law, right? But I think that the conversation needs to broaden in the sense that we shouldn't always blame the subject in the frame, but also ask questions behind the scenes and say, was this person aware that this video was going to be uploaded online? And if not, what legal actions can we take in making sure that there's some sort of redress for this person's invasion of his or her privacy? But then my personal advice to my future 7-year-old son is, don't film yourself while you're having sex. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Guys, we have to go now. Melvina, I'm just going to ask to get a final thoughts from Melvina and Felix. It is the norm now. After chatting with a guy for a while, the conversation eventually leads to, so what are you wearing now? Can you send a picture? Can we do a live video? Melvina, I'm just going to have your final thoughts on this matter.
Sorry, please, I didn't get you. Could you come again?
Oh, Melvina, I was talking about the new norm now. When you chat with a guy, the conversation usually will lead to, what are you wearing now? Can you take a picture? Can we do a live video? In the midst of all these leaked videos, you don't even check them online. What would be your final thoughts on issues like this?
Okay, coming from the angle where you just spoke about, it's on the I feel it's on the side of the female not to let the conversation get to that point. Okay, in a case where I and a guy I just met online is talking, we keep chatting daily, and then it gets to a point where he have to ask me, what are you putting on, or where are you? When you see that it's going to that side, as a female myself, sometimes I just pause the conversation there, or sometimes I just, why are you asking? What's wrong? Why are you asking? And then, because I know where it's already leading to. And then if I see from onset that you're not the kind of person that I want, because I get to observe people from our conversation. And then if I see you're not the kind of person I want as a friend or as any other thing, I just keep the conversation afar. It could be just, how are you doing, good morning, and then that's just it.
What if it's a guy you're in a relationship with? Sexting, online sex is a reality these days, you don't think?
It is a reality because it's actually happening. Yes, it's actually happening. I know of a lady that should I share this? I know of a lady that actually sent her nude pictures to the guy because he said he was going to send her some money for whatever thing she said it was for. And it happened that the guy later wanted to use it to blackmail her and stuff like that. So she ended up sending money to the guy and not the guy sending money to her. So it's actually, it's happening. But then as in a relationship, as a female, as a male, before both of you come together in a relationship, I guess there must have been some standards that had been set already, or that will be set. If you say, okay, there is no sex, there is no stuff like that, then it should be that. If this person is coming to say, okay, let's share pictures, then you as a moral, upright somebody, you should say, no, I don't want that, or I don't do that, and I don't want to do it. If it gets to the point that the relationship will have to go, then I guess it's for the right thing. Yeah.
Well. Interesting. Let me say my last few words. What I want to say is, whether we like it or not, two consenting adults, whatever they do.
Unfortunately, not everybody is morally upright.
Can you hear me?
And yet they still have a right. Am I still audible?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Nobody's hearing me?
Yes, please.
Something I can hear you. Nifemi, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Nifemi. You were saying something.
Uncle P, go ahead, and then we hear.
Okay, what I was saying is,
we can hear you, Uncle P.
What two consenting adults do with online or whatever should be their business. But just know that if you're doing it online, be ready for the consequences. Because I'll tell you an example. If you have well, I don't want to call the name. There's this search engine and they have photos. If you activate those photos, whatever you have on your phone goes to somewhere in the sky and saves your pictures. So you don't even know those pictures are there and you've deleted them. And also people can clone your phone and take pictures while you're using your phone. They can hack your phone. So all those things matter. So just know what you're doing. Like I always say, digital footprints. Have your own, exercise your own human rights to yourself. Be aware of what you're doing. If you don't care, then you don't. But if you do care, then do it. It has nothing to do with morality or everybody has sex. Well, not everybody, but I mean, consenting adults. And if a married couple is in two different.
Not everybody, Uncle P. I don't.
I corrected myself. I didn't say everybody. You know me, I'm not a conformist, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But sex is normal. If a man is in UK and his wife is in Nigeria and they want to have phone sex, it's up to them. It's their business. It's not supposed to go online, but be aware that once you do it, it can be leaked. Maybe not by you, but someone can do it. Or you can mistakenly save it. There's people that just press their phone and you can save it, and before you know it, it's uploaded. So just be aware.
Thank you so much. Moses' hand is raised. Moses, you have a few minutes. Please go ahead.
I think Mr. Peter has said the bulk of what I wanted to say. But then when he talked about you can do whatever you want to do, but be ready. I think that's also part of the point of holding people accountable. So, for example, if I have sex with my wife tomorrow or with anybody, and I get it recorded and save it in my private computer, and somebody clones my computer and leaks the footages, the narrative should not be, oh my God, Moses is trending online having sex. The question should be, how did that footage get online? Was Moses did that get online with his consent, right? And how can Moses get to seek legal action against? That should be the narrative, And to answer what Melvina was talking about, a girl sending nudity to someone that she likes, on a phone conversation. the issue is not morals. I don't think the issue is about being morally wrong or morally right. I think the issue is being comfortable with what you're doing. If a woman wants to send her new pictures to a man that she fancies online, that's fine. As long as she's doing it, she gets to call the shots. She's doing it because she wants to, not because she's being compelled or conditioned to do it. So that's really just what I wanted to throw out there.
Yes, if
Fantastic
a woman,
point, Moses.
or if anyone,
Yes,
male or female, is sending your nude picture because you want money, then you're putting yourself in that position. And I'm sorry, but I don't feel bad for you because it's prostitution.
Digital prostitution.
I think it was Moses that said, if you do not want to be seen, I think you shouldn't have a social media account, something like that. So in my final words, like personally, I mean, I'm currently in Lagos, Nigeria. My wife is in London, and there's a lot of communications that will go down, and a lot of things that will happen. I do not have to tell it all.
I get your point, brother.
And I think all we need to understand, personally, I do not care my videos being out. And I've told my wife, one day we could be out there because we're doing all of this. So just get ready. Whatever it comes out, we control the narrative. We sell the content to whatever this thing. And instead of being the victim, because in our society in Nigeria, I am going to be victimized. While the society where we live, that can never happen to us because we know that there's avenues for us to control the narrative and we won't get justice. In fact, this can make us rich. If someone like Uncle P now picks my nude in London and posts it online, I will be rich because they will know where they will know where it's coming from and anything, and then I can get money for that, So, but from here, so I think Moses said everything. If you do not want to be seen, just don't be on it. So if you know you're not going to be comfortable with your nude being seen, I don't think you should even be someone who should be recording in the first place.
Absolutely.
So what Felix is saying, that if you want to record, do it well so that it will come out fine.
No, that's not what he's saying. Stop paraphrasing, man. That's not what he's saying.
I'm just kidding. Moses, calm down.
On that note.
Oh my God, Ifemi, come on.
So that you don't feel bad about your leaked video. I mean, you can watch it and be very confident. I'm proud of the thing I have done. Yes. Thank you guys for this.
But on that note, let's thank Felix for being here for his first time. It was good having you. Melvina, thank you very much. Moses, once again, thank you. And we missed Dr. Ama. She's away today, but she'll be back next time. And Nifemi, over to you.
Dr. Ama has eyes everywhere. Thank you, Dr. Ama, for this platform. Catch you guys again next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.